Dennis. Again, my name is Tim Glynn. When Father Dennis asked me to speak to you today, I didn't hesitate to say yes. I am very honored and humbled to be here with you today. St. Catherine's has not only been my spiritual home for over 60 years, but has become a second home for me. St. Catherine's has been blessed with great priests, from Father John Kane, our founding pastor, right up to and including Father Dennis and Father Fred. Although we have been blessed with great priests and their leadership, I believe it has been the parishioners of this parish that have made this parish and church so great. St. Catherine's mission statement states that we are a Catholic community rooted in faith, family, and friendship. We are responsive to the needs and the concerns of those around us. We live out Jesus' words, "Come, follow me." And we invite others to join us, which I believe we as a parish do, and we do it fairly well. As a child, I saw the people of this parish live out this mission statement and answer the call repeatedly to help people in need, and shared of their time and talents with others freely. Years ago, there was a family that lived here in St. Catherine's. The mother was diagnosed with a life-threatening illness, which eventually took her life. During this family's tough times, it was the women of this parish that stepped up and made sure the family had meals and to help this family out wherever and whenever needed. They answered the call to feed my people and to help those in need. And St. Catherine continues to do that today. On a personal note, I can remember my first sport coat for 8th grade graduation from this fine institution. It was given to my mom by a parishioner. This generous parishioner knew my family didn't have the money to go out and buy me a sport coat. Again, this parishioner saw another parishioner in need and answered the call. Clothe my people. Just as a reminder, the St. Vincent de Paul clothing drive is this weekend. The men of this parish were also willing and ready to help out this parish and each other when needed. Many of the men of this parish in its early days were tradesmen. They may have not had a lot of money, so when they were asked to help, they did. They shared of their time, their talents, and their trade. Again, helping those in need. What a wonderful thing for me to see and experience as a young child. And I continue to see this happening at St. Catherine's. My parents always made sure my 3 brothers and my 3 sisters always attended Mass. Every Sunday, my whole family were here at the 11 o'clock Mass, and my dad always ushered. I don't remember a time I thought of not attending Mass. Although, to be honest, I have missed Mass more than a few times over my life. I'm not a saint. But attending Mass and my faith and my relationship with God are very important to me. I try to go to daily Mass because I receive so much comfort in doing so, especially over the last year since I lost my mom. I know no matter how I feel coming into Mass, I usually feel better when I leave. I can honestly say I have always felt a sense of great joy and comfort by coming to Mass. I also usually hear something I need to hear to help me make it through the day, or I'm giving something to think about. I know it was because of my parents' faith and the faith I saw of the people of this parish that made me start to think that maybe I was being called to priesthood. But I kept pushing the idea out of my head till I could no longer do so. I eventually applied and was accepted and graduated from Niles College Seminary for the Archdiocese of Chicago. After graduation, I went on to the University of St. Mary of the Lake, Mundelein Seminary. Although I left Mundelein Seminary in my third year, I did learn a lot about myself, about my faith, about my prayer life, and my relationship with God, which has only deepened over the years. Because of what I learned at my time in the seminary and through the deepening of my faith, prayer life, and relationship with God, I began to see things in a new way. This new way gave me the ability to see how God and God's grace was not only in my life, but also in the world. I may not have seen God's involvement in my life or experienced God's grace right away, but I did eventually come to see and experience them both. God has shown me His grace in so many ways by placing people in my life, including many people here at St. Catherine's, for which I am very thankful. I am thankful for this great church and parish. I know that I will continue to say a prayer in thanksgiving for St. Catherine's and you, the parishioners, who have touched my life. This church and you people of St. Catherine's will always hold a special place in my heart, and you will always be in my prayers. Prayer. I'm sure we've all heard people say, and I know I've thought in the past, why pray? God doesn't hear my prayers, nor does He answer them. And if there is a God, why does He let bad things happen? Today, I know that God does hear my prayers. However, the answer may not be what I wanted, what I was looking for, or expected. Shortly after my dad died, I fell at work and broke my leg. And I was thinking, how could God let this happen to me, as I need to be there for my mom? Although I was mad at God, I continued to pray. It may have been months for me to realize my broken leg was God's way of giving me more time to spend with my mom to help her through one of the toughest times in her life. We may not know God's plan right away, but most times things happen for a reason and our prayers are answered. Sometimes, however, we may not know why things happen. And my experience is that God sometimes shows me why things happen in my life to remind me that God is in my life and that I am not alone, and that God always has someone watching over me, which gives me great comfort. I believe St. Catherine's is a community, again, rooted in faith, family, and friendship. And we are responsive to the needs and the concerns of those around us. And I believe we as a parish, again, do this fairly well, living out our mission statement. But I also believe we could do a better job in the area of discipleship and evangelization, which I believe goes hand in hand with faith. I know I too need to work in these areas. If we are to remain to be a vibrant community of faith, I believe that we need to invite people into this great faith community so that we can continue to grow and blossom, so that we are always ready and able to answer God's call to spread His good news and to help make new disciples. So I ask all of you, including myself, to extend an invitation to your neighbors, friends, co-workers to join us here at St. Catherine's, a parish that has been built on and is rooted in friend, family, and friendship in a place I'm proud to call my home. Thank you.